What up, y'all? Have you ever had a conversation with someone about a particular superhero or character and they immediately start talking about the cinematic version when you were referring to the comic version? Yeah, me too. We're going to talk about that as it relates to the Recast T'Challa movement. Let's be real with D-Real. What up, y'all? And welcome to another Be Real with D-Real, where edutainment is what I do. It's Wednesday, so guess what we're doing? We're doing that Recast T'Challa still, Recast T'Challa or else, boycott Black Panther 2. But I want to take a different slant. I don't want to be as aggressive as I have been in the past. I want to appeal to your logic. All right. I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and we were talking about a video we had watched. I think it was like a death battle or something. And we were talking about Batman versus the Black Panther here. And I could tell by the way the conversation was going that he immediately, I was talking about cinematic versions of the characters. Could the cinematic version of Batman beat the cinematic version of the Black Panther? First, I have not seen a cinematic version of Batman that could give T'Challa any kind of trouble. Michael Keaton Batman, he was getting beat up by a regular guy, a big black guy. I ain't see the first time I really saw any hand skills from a cinematic Batman was Christian Bale, and then that was kind of mediocre at best. That scene in Batman versus Superman where with Batfleck, you can say what you want about Batfleck, but he was crushing it. Now, before I get deeper into this, what I need y'all to do is what I always need y'all to do. Comment, like, subscribe to the Be Real with D-Real page so you can get alerts when new stuff comes out. Comment, like, subscribe. Now, back to this. Now, I don't want to dance on you Bat fans parade or anything like that, but I just give me something in Batman's arsenal anywhere in the cinematic universe that could contend with vibranium. I don't see anything in Batman's arsenal that can even begin to mess with vibranium. Now, comic book Batman might be an entirely different story. But what I'm getting at is this. You have far more powerful versions in the comics than you ever will in a cinematic version. Now, I say that to say this. When we're talking about a superhero in general, and their impact on their fan base, not everybody, you get a different perspective. And I was well aware that people who are about this Recast T'Challa movement make up a small percentage, but what I've always been saying in my videos and what I'll continue to say in my videos is we need to raise awareness. Just like my man Sinclair. I see you out there, Sinclair. I see you on different platforms. I see you doing your thing. You are actually the theory at work. So kudos to you, my brother. And basically, I want to continue to push this narrative, not only for the Recast T'Challa movement, but to get casual fans to understand that you are dealing with two separate universes. If you don't want to read comics or anything like that, you don't want to watch cartoons or anything like that, I get that. That's fine. But understand and know the book is always better than the movie. And This has never been more evident, at least to me. Back in the 80s, early 80s, well, not late 80s, actually, early 90s. I was dating a girl who loved Stephen King, and that's all she read. Stephen King books, Stephen King, Stephen King. I read this one, I read that one, and I would just be like, nah, let's just go see the movie. And she's like, those movies are, oh, they're trash. That's garbage, and I never understood what she was saying until they started. I understood, but I had to actually sit down and read a Stephen King book for myself before I truly understood, okay, the book really is better than the movie. I mean, even Greek mythology, watching Clash of the Titans, the story of Perseus is a little more linear, a little more interesting than Clash of the Titans. I mean, they take liberties. You got to take liberties and go outside of that myth to tell that story cinematically to where people will be like, "Ooh, that was awesome." Anyway, that being said, casual fans need to understand that when you are watching a superheroic character in a movie, you are getting about that much of what that character is, as opposed to this being the sum of what that character is. Such is the case for T'Challa. T'Challa has not only been a king, a reigning king, T'Challa is now an emperor. T'Challa is now the chairman of the Avengers. T'Challa now has a secret Avengers group called the Agents of Wakanda. A lot of that would make for an amazing story, not to mention his wedding and nuptials and consecration and childbirth, from the marriage with Aurora Monroe, aka Storm. Story that needs to be on the screen, a story that will be just as epic as anything else that has happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Men want to see the wedding of Aurora and T'Challa. Women want to see the wedding of Aurora and T'Challa. Little kids want to see it. So Ryan Coogler, Kevin Feige, Nate Moore, do what you got to do to make that happen. The crux of what I'm saying is very simple. When you make comparisons, consider composite characters, not just a cinematic version. You can, I mean, a lot of times on nerd forums, you see people talking about things like that. Okay. But composite means taking every version of that character, combining it. Okay. That can't happen in a movie version because they don't have the time. They don't have the patience. But what we need to be doing is understanding that 616, MCU, two entirely different universes, because the things that are happening in the 616 are not happening in the MCU and vice versa. Understand they are separate. Tony Stark still alive. Captain America still alive. T'Challa definitely still alive. So we need to understand these are ongoing adventures in the books versus where we've cut them off and made our demise. Okay, at the Council of Wakanda, what we try to do is get people to remember, to preserve that memory so that it doesn't die. Just like somebody reminded me about the quote from What If last week. In my culture, death is not the end. As long as we remember them and keep them in our hearts, they will never go away. Okay, that is very true when it comes to characters in cinematic versions, in comic versions, period. As long as they're in our hearts, as long as they're in our minds, we have to keep using that, what's in our heart and in our minds, to push this narrative. Not in a discouraging way, but in a, we will not be moved kind of a way, that we're strong in our resolve and that we have a purpose. Understand, all day, every day, it's still Recast T'Challa, Recast T'Challa, or else boycott Black Panther 2. The fans are speaking, and we will keep speaking until you hear us. This has been another Be Real with D Real production. I will be back with another one of them other ones. And until I am, y'all be good with each other.